Let's take a step back from some of the day-to-day trades that we've been looking at over the last few months for the UK banking sector. I want to take a look at the banking sector here in the UK on a longer-term picture and some of the developments that could occur for those that have long-term positions on some of the UK banks. And for this, we're talking now to the independent technical analyst, Patricia Elbaz, who joins us now. Patricia, welcome.
Yeah.
It's not often we get a chance to take, as I say, a step back and take a look at the long-term picture, but you've brought together three charts for us to take a look at today. Kicking off first of all with HSBC, and we've got the long-term picture here for HSBC. These are weekly candles, and you've drawn a long-term downtrend on here, which has recently been broken. Explain what's going on.
Yes, so as you say, it's a long-term downtrend. It goes back as far as 2006, and the fact that we've broken through this long-term downtrend shows that actually there is, even though it's had a big rally recently, there is scope for medium-term and even stronger rally. So if we want to look at levels, at the moment we're around 742, 743. What we're looking at is to actually move towards as far as the 800 level.
Let's go to the daily chart to get a better idea as to where we are in terms of some of the more detailed moves on this daily chart here. And I mean, it has been a tremendous rally, hasn't it, from where we are, 13th, this is mid-April 2016.
Yes.
And that was at 415 pence. Here we are now at 743. So it has been a tremendous rally in the last 12, 14 months or so.
Yes, and I mean, there has also been a lot of positive things, like they're talking about moving 1,000 jobs to Paris. They're getting ready for Brexit, and it seems to be like they are in charge. It feels like there's a lot of confidence coming back. So
I think there's also been an appointee, hasn't there, as well, from Goldman Sachs, isn't there, in Hong Kong, I believe.
That's right. So all these things are actually giving you more confidence, and longer term it looks like there's going to be more positive news coming out. So the target here that we have of this range breakout, we like to do range breakouts and find out what the target is, and that target is 815. So we have something there around 815.
So clearly you've calculated that by looking at the range that we've had here, and you've drawn a length of this between the bottom and the top. What's this line here, this what, at 656 or so forth?
So 656 would be our base, our support. If there is a chance and we see that the shares are dipping, we wouldn't like them to move lower than 656 to 650. So we want that to be our strong base in terms of taking it higher to 800. We're looking even as far as 1,000. It would be more of a 2-year gap rather than just short term, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're looking for longer term to move above 800 and for the shares to carry on going as far as even 1,000.
Yeah. If we were to take a long position on this over the summer, where would you put your stop just for safety?
I would put it around 600 because I would put it at the bottom of the range.
Okay, so that is below this this line here, rather than this line here, which is this cluster of activity here.
Yes.
You go for the bottom of the range and just put your stop a little bit below there.
For a longer term thing, but if we're looking for more like 3 months or something like that, then I would look more at 650, 660 something, a little bit closer.
Okay, compared to the FTSE, how has HSBC been performing?
Yes, so it's interesting because of this big move, we think that it's been outperforming, but it's only recently that we've seen the crossover. So
yeah, we don't have it on here, unfortunately, but you're just talking about the fact that it has outperformed the FTSE, which is positive for the stock.
Yes, which is positive for the stock. We want to see to carry on outperforming the FTSE and to see if we can carry on with this rally. And obviously 700, we like to have psychological level. Yeah. The big psychological next is 800. Sure. So we've gone through 700. I feel like 700 is like our support now, whether it can hold as a support, and look for 800 in terms of the next target.
Good. Okay. Well, that's a long position for HSBC. The second one you brought along is Lloyds. Lloyds Bank has had an interesting recent history, of course, the last 8-9 years or so, because it went to the government for a big handout of money.
Yes.
It's only recently come out of the other side, so it's now completely private again. What do you like about Lloyds?
Okay, so with Lloyds...
Let's go for the long-term chart again to begin with, to give us a better idea of the sort of the context of where it's come from.
Okay, so it's funny because when we talk about short-term moves, we don't realise how far back we've come from. So it's quite a long way back here, above 500, going back quite a long way. So if we look at it, you have a very, very long-term range. If we look at the, we can actually draw the trend line support and look at the long-term range of the lows from 2009, exactly from there. We can draw that across, and that's our major base. So that's interesting to see how far we're coming from. We're trying to actually pull away from that base. We're trying to build and push away from that base. In terms of the upside, we can also draw a longer term resistance. That's it. So we can take it from the highs from here, and we can draw the line coming down, and we've actually broken it. Oh yeah, if we could just a tiny bit lower, that's it. We're trying to break above the very long-term resistance. Okay, so in terms of levels...
Let's go on to a daily chart and take a look at this in some more detail.
Yes.
Now you've gone. This is the support level, which has been its friend since November last year.
Right.
And we've just drawn this line here. This one is another one you've been following. This break of this line.
Exactly.
Here.
So that's an interesting break, because that's a really good buy position, and that was around 66.20. So you had a very strong buy there. If you didn't get a chance to buy earlier on, then there was a good buy trigger there at 66.20. So in terms of where are we going from here, we have broken through a trend line. We're trying to break higher. We're base building just around 65. We're looking for 70 initially to clear that level.
Nice big round number.
So the big round number is 70 to clear that level. Once we've done that, we're looking to go back to the top of that, which is 73.50, which is just under 74. So these are the targets for Lloyds. We're looking for carrying on with the rally. If there is any kind of setback or any kind of consolidation, we have got some very good support around 66.20, which is our breakout point.
Okay, so stop here?
I will put the stop exactly there, just by that trend line.
Right, okay, all right. Lloyds Bank, some of the fundamentals. We spoke about the comparison between the FTSE and HSBC.
Yes.
How's the Lloyds share price been performing?
So interestingly, it has been outperforming since 2016. It actually has been outperforming the FTSE. We've also some positive. We've seen Neil Woodford, who's put it as one of his top 10 picks. Yep. So he's known to be contrarian.
He likes the dividends, doesn't he? So
That's right.
Yeah.
So it could be something which is more attractive in a lot of ways. So there are a lot of positives coming out, and
the CEO is staying as well, I think.
The CEO is staying. There's been a lot of talks about, is he moving, is he being, so that he's actually said, I'm staying and I'm ready to take it forward and to carry on with this. And quite a lot of signals that actually we are going to see a rally and look for some kind of that big trend line support to hold. In terms of if we don't manage to get through 70, if we do get back and get into this consolidative phase, which is possible, then we're looking for the big base about 64. But that's just the alternative. We are quite bullish and we're looking for 66 to hold.
Yeah. I think it's interesting actually looking at when you look at your three picks today, you've gone for Barclays as your third, which is a little bit of a different story. In fact, there's a little bit of negativity I think is possible to interpret on the Barclays chart. But let's go first of all with the Barclays long-term picture, because I think these are the weekly candles. You've drawn a really nice triangle that's building up here over the long term. And in fact, I think the bottom part of the triangle was back in 2009. And of course, that big slide that we had, of course, everybody knows,
remember.
Was we were there.
Yes.
We've still got the tin hats. But we built on from there, and here we are now. So what's this telling you?
So as you say, the triangle, normally when you have a triangle, what does it tell you? You're within two levels. The longer you stay on the triangle, the more likely that the next move is going to be sharp. it doesn't tell you which way it's going, up or down, when you've got a long-term triangle. At the moment, we think that it's base building and the move will be up. But until you break the top, there's no guarantee that the triangle is going to break out. So the big thing at the moment is to look for a move towards a triangle top. We're talking about longer term. You've got the longer term charts here, as you said, from 2009. So if we look at the cursor and see where that top is exactly there, so that level would be
253, I think it comes in at here.
Okay, so we're currently at 207, 207.90. So 253 would be our very long-term level, which will tell us that, okay, we can take Barclays back to the 400
So
points.
the daily chart here gives a little bit more sort of intricate detail, doesn't it?
Yes, so the daily chart shows that you have been on a bearish channel. We're looking a bit closer now, just the last few months. You have been on a bearish channel, but you've broken out of that channel. So once you break out of that channel, you've got your range extension. And in this case, we have the range extension top that comes in exactly
227?
227.
Yeah,
so, and again, near our 230 psychological level. So quite a lot going on in terms of there is a turnaround. It is trying to go higher. We haven't seen the break strongly yet, as opposed to some of the other banking stocks, which have shown quite more of a bullish. It is being plagued still by a lot of the
litigation
court cases.
Yeah.
And I think there was a date set for 2019 for the next set. So it's still being plagued by that, and there's still a lot of uncertainty. But it does look like it's trying to pull, and if we can break through that, clearly we've broken through the bear channel, so now we're on a bullish trend. We're looking for it to go much higher, and initially 220 would be the level.
Stops here, because I think we've got two possibilities, haven't we? We've got below this top line
yes,
here,
so that's a very
below
good stop. So initially, as you said, the trend line resistance becomes your support, so that level would be the ideal one initially. So we're looking at, that's the level there.
Around about there, which is back, just kicks in around about the £2 level.
Yes, so 200, and then the major base, which would be the previous low exactly around there, which is
that kicks in at 190, 188.
188. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at that as being our base. If we do get back inside the channel, then it's going to be a struggle. Yeah. But we are looking for it to stay out of the channel and to head towards the very long term, which we look at was 250.
Yeah. It's interesting actually looking at these banking stocks. I mean, looking at FTSE against Barclays, you look at this chart and you think, well, it's been a lot more negative. The FTSE's done so well, but in fact, I think even this has outperformed the FTSE, hasn't it?
Yes, this has outperformed the FTSE. And what I was seeing, or we were looking at earlier on, is that it's outperformed it, but actually starting to narrow. And that's worrying, because it could show that maybe the FTSE will go up and it will underperform it. So it's really interesting to watch, especially over the next coming months before the new quarter starts and everything. Is it going to carry on outperforming? Is it going to be, the level which we're looking at, 200, is that going to be our major base still? And if they do break and we do see the narrowing and actually the crossover, then that would be a bearish picture. But we're looking for it to carry on the upside.
Good. Okay. Well, look, 3 banking stocks for summer. Patricia, thanks indeed for joining us. Patricia Elbaz, independent technical analyst, with us there with some analysis of some of the banking stocks to watch here in the UK over the summer, including HSBC, Lloyds and Barclays.